This is your Chargers linebacker, Daiyan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Daiyan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. This is your first time tuning in the show. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Good morning, Chargers fans. Officially, 2024 season, the Chargers have punched their ticket for the postseason by defeating the New England Patriots. Trouncing the New England Patriots 40-7. Coming home in a glorious fashion last night. If anybody caught any of that footage with the fans just embracing everybody that was there, it was a great moment to wake up to on a Saturday morning, a great day to experience throughout the day, something to just revel in terms of the first season of Jim Harbaugh coming in, doing exactly what he set out to do, and now the Chargers are going to the postseason. It now comes down to where will they actually be, the 5th or the 6th seed? Daiyan Wolkenstein, how are we feeling?
Chargers fans, we made it. We made it to 10 wins. We made it to the playoffs. I've got my victory latte. I even went sprinkles on top to celebrate as if it's a celebratory cake here. Folks in the chat, what are you drinking? Athir apparently is drinking Modelo's and having his cigars this morning. Good on you. Good on you, Athir. Jake, that wasn't just a win, like you said. We haven't seen that at all this year. And we have been looking for a complimentary victory where the Chargers can dominate on both sides of the ball, can be consistent in both halves, can win on all three levels, can outcoach a bad team. What? What is this feeling? 40-7. Chargers punch their ticket. Chargers fans have their feet up, relaxing in the fourth quarter, watching the backups in there. And now all we got to do is talk about 5 versus 6, who it's going to be, and how we're going to get there. And Jake, it's been a long road this year. There's a lot of Chargers fans, a lot of change. But like Jim Harbaugh says, who's got it better than us?
They definitely have it better in terms of feeling than you and I this morning.
I don't feel great.
if anybody can tell, my voice is a little bit hoarse.
Princess and the Frog. Let's call it that.
That's a fair comparison. I actually had a lot of syrup and coffee last night.
Sure.
Yeah. Not in terms of the Chargers. It was a different celebration, but it was a great thing to talk about during that celebration. Don't get me wrong. As you mentioned, Dan, going into this game, this was all about, just first for me, I thought there was going to be more weather elements.
Same.
There wasn't. Jim Harbaugh was right on point. Justin Herbert was weatherproof going into this game. You got back to a more balanced approach with J.K. Dobbins coming back and had a great game for his return. But Justin Herbert slinging it through the air just was on point. And this was the biggest thing. Yes, the Chargers went out and they defeated a 3-13 football team now.
They did what they're supposed to do.
But they did what they were supposed to do. This was one of those situations where it's just, hey, you're coming off of an emotional comeback win against a division rival in the Denver Broncos. You're traveling to the East Coast with playoff implications on the line. Just close it out. But they didn't even leave an opportunity, Dan, for it to be close. Just go in there, shut the door, and let's at least just punch our ticket to go to the playoffs. The best part about the image that you're showing right now, Dan, if we go back to that Jim Harbaugh post-game speech, the very end that he talked about, it's like, hey, the ticket's punched. Now it's all about seeding. And 11 wins is much better than 10. So
he's still going.
There will not be any rest for the Chargers heading into a week or the final week of the season against the Las Vegas Raiders?
No. We have so many voicemails to get to today. I can't wait for all of these. Chargers fans, you deserve this. This has been a long road through many a coaches, many a losses, many a heartbreak. And we've talked about it a few times, Jake. We'll go through all the unsung and sung heroes from this game. We'll talk about Justin. We'll talk about McConkey. We'll talk about the defense and everyone. But the man in the middle, I keep going back to Derwin and how happy, how much joy you get to see on his face every week now compared to what we've seen the last few years. You can't replicate that. And the jolly good fellow that is Jim Harbaugh and the rest of the team as they sing that every week after they win, pulling it down. Who's got it better than us? The culture that is in this locker room right now cannot get replicated. Look at Khalil Mack in the back. The kid looks like Christmas Eve, walking down the stairs, wondering what's going to be in my Christmas tree tomorrow morning. He's got such a joyous face on his hand. Look at Rashawn Slater, Bozeman over here. You got Joey Bosa just chilling in the corner. I mean,
Rashawn looks like he's chilling in a sauna. Bradley Bozeman's looking down at like, hey, what's that on your shoe? You know,
I think it's a Starheat still over here in the corner. Just like, wow, what have I jumped into? This team has won as a team almost all year. And that was the best you have seen this late in the season. And that's all you could ask for. That's what everybody has hoped for. Is look your best when your best was needed at the end of the season. Granted, against a bad team. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You can't control that. But you can control being able to rest your starters. And hell, I wanted them to rest them before. That's the luxury they gave us. So, Jake, we have a ton to get into. We have lots of fun for this episode. We have a giveaway already, which we'll talk to. We have 2 giveaways. What am I talking about? Signed Josh Palmer jersey, and we have a Ladidi. I can't even call him the right name now. Ladidi McConkey.
I appreciate the fact that you are calling him by his proper name, Ladidi McConkey.
One Lad McConkey jersey of choice is up for grabs. Go to our X handle. I think it's pinned right now. Go enter for your chance to win both of those. I think we'll put the Josh Palmer one up here soon. Put your comments, questions, thoughts in the chat. We have plethora of voicemails to get to. But Jake, before we get to all of that, let's pay the bills. Talk about our friends.
I want to remind everybody that BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline is every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. You think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every single week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of up to $200K. When the game is over, head on over to our online casino and get on a game of blackjack or poker on with one of our 150 slot games. Head on over to the website today to get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. And if you can't tell, normally the inflection in my voice when I read that ad is much higher. So I'm not bored. That's just how my voice sounds.
I'm just trying to survive.
I'm sorry.
Forgotten locale. Harbaugh changed this broke franchise's life. James Wagner. Harbaugh says the only one who could possibly have it better is future us. God, this guy just pulls things out of the woodwork. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Bolt up from New Mexico. aHerbert with a $5 donation. As Chargers fans rooting for the Steelers next week, I will explain why I want the Ravens later. Get ready, Dan and Jake, for aHerbert fire. No, aHerbert. No, I am not rooting for the Steelers. I am rooting for the Bengals. I would like to see the Houston Texans in the wild card round. That'd be fantastic. Texter, even Joey has a dumb happy face. Texter says, you can control dropping 40 on them. Let's put 70 on the Raiders. I'd love to see Easton stick. No, sorry. No, I wouldn't. I'd like to see Tyler Heineke put 70 on the Raiders. That'd be fantastic. Daniel Bridges, I was pounding the table for Brandon Staley to get fired and hire a real coach and get a real GM. This is what I hope for, a chance to be a solid franchise. So happy. Sweet jumps with a bunch of awesome emojis. Righteous child, do you think we could take a bowl home? I'm not going to poo-poo anything right now. I'm not going to answer that. We're going to the playoffs, baby. We're going. Okay, hey, let's go. Let's get into this. Chargers Unleashed hotline was lit, as the kiddos say, Jake. You can call in anytime, 323-902-7586. Leave a 30-second voicemail. Some of these, again, went long, but that's okay because we love you anyways. Look, these are fun, Jake. I love these. You ready for some voicemails?
Yes, please.
Here we go. Voicemail number 1. Chargers Unleashed hotline. Line 1.
Jake, Dan, Chargers fans, we're going to playoffs, baby. What an exciting moment this is, man. We're going up right now. It's 11 minutes and 53 seconds. Calling in early.
Woo! That's almost a full quarter.
He knew when the game was over.
But it's 37-7. We got this game. Very excited that we're about to see Herbert in playoffs again. And really happy that we scored a lot of points in this game. Really excited. J.K. Dobbins, shout out to him, really exciting. Derwin James, man, he's a beast, man. Glad he's back in this game. And really excited, we'll see what happens in the next game. See if we rest the starters up. But I just got to sing a little song here. For he's a jolly good fella, for he is a jolly good fella, for he is a jolly good fella.
Nobody can deny.
What's up, baby? Let's
go. Oh, needed that. Needed that to start this thing off.
Dan, I think and we'll obviously talk about this just a little bit more. I think caught up in the mix of everything, he was talking about J.K. Dobbins. I felt that in general, the running game looked the best that it had been throughout the entire season, honestly. And that's not even having a J.K. Dobbins 100-yard game. It was the fact that if you go back to training camp and you listen to Greg Roman when he was talking about the running game in general, he was saying that because of who they had in the running back room, that they felt that they had guys who could do different things, come at defenses in a different way. And I thought that was very intriguing because I thought to myself, hey, this will be a great situation for Justin Herbert because not only are you going to be able to get your running game back, but you're going to be able to hit a defense with different type of feels for guys who can do different things, explosiveness, guys who can get the tough yards, guys that you're able to use in the passing game. I felt that yesterday was the perfect example of that because not only did J.K. Dobbins do a very, very good job for what he was able to turn out, but Hassan Haskins was getting involved. Kamani Vidal was getting some really good positive yards. And I felt just in general, even with Gus Edwards out, this was the best that the running game had looked all season long. And when you can dictate a pace like that, and when you can win on early downs, first and second down, the way that the Chargers did, that's how you can open up the playbook so much more for Justin Herbert. On top of that, Justin Herbert becoming the top dog in terms of passing yards in his first 5 seasons, breaking records in that circumstance. Ladd McConkey breaking receptions and receiving yards for this franchise yesterday. Almost had a hat trick, literally was about this close to having a hat trick for 3 touchdowns. What a day for Ladd McConkey. Everything just seemed to be moving right for the Chargers. And again, you got to just tip your cap to Jim Harbaugh for getting him prepared, Greg Roman for having a good game plan to go along with where to attack that New England defense. So, I mean, everything was moving for the Chargers yesterday. Got to feel good.
Action Dan 65 with a $20 donation. Holla at your boy. Thank you so much. Not bad for a so-called rebuilding year with GM Ortiz every year. Could be considered as a rebuilding year, and I'm good with that. Woo! I got chills. Every year could be considered a rebuilding year. He is always rebuilding. Like 7-Eleven, always open. Joe Ortiz, always rebuilding. Thank you, Action Dan. Jake, we can get into recap. We could do the recap, or friend of the show can give us a part deux.
Oh, God. Is this what I think it is?
Gentlemen, it's time.
Oh, yes. Yes. This is what I need to wake up to this morning.
Let's all sit back, drink your coffee, whatever beverage you have, and let's listen to today's recap. Brought to you by Chargers Unleashed Hotline. Again, 323-902-7586. Gentlemen!
It's time again for the next installment of Chargers Recap. Today's theme, pressure into diamonds.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yes.
All year we've discussed that this team is able to handle the business against the teams that they're supposed to handle their business against. Something we are not familiar with. Many times we have seen this team crumble with opportunities to secure playoff spots, give us options for the following week. And so, of course, we all felt somewhat nervous about this game. It's on the road against a team that the Chargers, frankly, don't play well against. But today,
Today!
the team took care of business. Under the pressure, they turned to diamonds. Slow start, first half, long drives, 90, 95 yards plus, didn't matter. Herbert was clean in the pocket, decisive, and I must say, Greg Roman was in his bag, putting together a masterclass performance of offensive efficiency.
Let's give Greg Roman his flowers. 100%. He was in his bag.
Second half, they're up 20-7. You feel good, but we all know 20-7 is not a formidable lead in the NFL. New England gets the ball, puts together a little bit of a drive, but we force a punt. The Chargers get the ball, march the field, score, never look back. This game was over with 20 minutes left.
Oh, didn't that feel good, by the way?
That's saying something.
With a third of the game left, it was over.
Herbert is sitting on the sideline with JK, Ladd, and the other boys enjoying the fact that he's going to be playing in January. It's going to be a good day for the laundry team. I don't expect they're going to have to do much laundry today. In fact, I'm watching the game right now finish up, and I don't see a single speck of dirt on any of the offensive players. Pressure in the diamond, boys. Let's take care of business next week and hope for that fifth seed.
Dan will, of course, edit the piano in later in post to go along with that. It's just so good. It's so good. Now we have a theme for recapping Chargers games. Now it's pressure into diamonds.
I wonder what the heck's going to be.
Look, just in general, to like summarize that, this is how much scar tissue that this franchise and this fan base has to deal with. It's games like this that traditionally you'd see the Chargers either struggle with or, as we used to say a lot, play down to your opponent. And maybe you barely squeak out a win, but you don't put anything in there that's decisive. And this is coming off of a emotional comeback victory against a divisional opponent. Now traveling to the East Coast, going up against a team that just barely lost to the Buffalo Bills the week prior. There was nothing to take lightly about this team. I don't care what the record is. I understand that they have not had a successful year and that they have issues. But again, as he was mentioning, even when the game is 20-7, you're still having those bad dreams in your head about, okay, let's just put this away.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not allow anything to come back. And again, when you see what had took place on the one touchdown that New England got, you're just like, God, it's plays like that where you're just like, oh, we need to get that one back. It shouldn't have happened. Don't allow them to come back into the game like that. You saw the drive that they were on that was elongated by a number of defensive penalties. And you're just like, okay, let's not have these type of moments that allow them to come back in the game. And thankfully for the Chargers, it never happened. Traditionally, it would. And that's why traditionally we are still caught up here in our heads.
Dre says scar tissue. I'm out of skin to be grafted.
Yes. Exactly my point. I don't think that those will ever go away. I do not think that those will ever go away, and no lead will really be considered safe until the backups are actually in there. But Dan, that's just the biggest thing. It was all about taking care of business, going on the road, yes, against a substandard opponent in terms of record, injuries, offensive line, whatever you want to say for it, rookie quarterback. They went out and they handled their business decisively. And I know some people have been saying in the chat, it's like, well, we look so good because we played an inferior team. You could take that one of two ways. I'll take that as you got a lot of good film to build on now in terms of how you executed. You got a lot of good film in terms of how you spread the ball around in the passing game. Let's elevate how you were able to utilize the offensive line in the running game that way. Utilize the running backs in the way that you utilize them. Now, all of a sudden, you're seeing an expanded role for Hassan Haskins, even with Gus Edwards being out. Last week against Denver, utilizing the passing game, ultimately caught the game-winning touchdown on the pitch, and now he's churning out positive yards and being used in the passing game even more. Build on that, much in the way of Stone Smart when he got his opportunity. He made one grab that was really, really impressive. Really impressive. And it's just, hey, guys that will go out and make plays are going to get opportunities. So if there's opportunities for more playmakers on this team, specifically the offense, because that's where they need it the most, why not? Build on it moving forward. Let this carry to the playoffs. I love what I saw yesterday.
So there was a one Richard Sherman that was in a lot of mentions yesterday. Jake, did you see his comments?
I did. I mean,
why?
You would have thought that somebody who was at the game last week in Denver would have, took notice. I actually thought, Dan, that Richard Sherman's comments were worse than Ryan Fitzpatrick's.
Oh, they were
with that type of comparison.
I'm trying to find the one that was bad. He compared.
He basically said that
Justin Herbert is more like someone than Burrow.
Herbert stat-wise was much more aligned with Caleb Williams than it was with Joe Burrow. And if you're talking about strictly just stat-wise, first of all, Joe Burrow's having a ridiculous season. That's been well documented. Everybody knows that. And they're still fighting for a playoff spot. But it's the way that he kind of doubled down on it with some of the responses that it made you feel like, dude, who gives a shit, honestly? Because they're going to the playoffs and they're doing it because of Justin Herbert and the defense. So which one is it? You're going to measure historically a quarterback based off of wins. And then when he gets the wins, now it's all about the stats. So I don't get it. And all
of it stemmed from a fan saying, all I'm saying is Herbert deserves the praise that Burrow gets. No one's saying Herbert is better than Burrow. No one's saying Herbert is the top quarterback in the NFL. All they're saying is Herbert deserves praise like Burrow does. And Richard Sherman comes over the top with, this comment is the kind of craziness that this platform brings. All I'm saying is Richard Sherman, honestly, I love Richard Sherman, but this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And yes, Cade, you're right. Moving the goalposts. And some people, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when people were saying stupid shit about Justin Herbert. Let them. I'm over being upset about it because they just don't watch. They literally don't watch Justin Herbert play. Anyone who says that does not watch Justin, and I immediately disregard. Period. Absolutely, period. One downer, Jake.
Yeah.
Elijah Molden. One of my favorite acquisitions the entire season. One of the glue guys, if you will. Probably should have had 6 picks this year. Gets hurt. Goes down. Gets back up. And 1 or 2 plays later, comes back in. And then somehow, I believe, had a broken shin or something like that. Announced on Instagram that he's done for the season. Huge blow. I don't know why he was out there. Really frustrating. Try not to let that overtake all of the positivity here, but that's a big blow. It's a big blow. Thankfully, this Chargers secondary has been very good, no matter if you were out there. But still, that sucked.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch. It looked like it was, when you go back and you watch the replays of the initial injury that took him out of the game, it looked like it was almost friendly fire from Derwin James when they were making the tackle, that it hit that part of his leg. And I'm not sure in terms of what happened during the first injury when he got taken out, and then when he went back in, and then ultimately it was basically just non-contact with him backpedaling, and that's ultimately when the end up did it. So maybe there was something there that they missed on the initial injury when he went down.
Yeah, how do you break a shin on non-contact?
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. So it is a tough blow because Elijah Molden is one of the few versatile chess pieces that you have in the secondary, can play both safety and corner. And as you mentioned, he's been just a welcome sight to a secondary, and especially the way that Jesse Minter uses him when he's healthy, that's big. So you hope now, especially just for the safety position, which outside of Derwin James has just been a revolving door of players, you hope that you can get Alohi Gilman back as soon as possible. Thankfully, you have Tony Jefferson, another veteran presence on this team, but getting Alohi Gilman back allows you to still utilize Derwin James in a similar role that Elijah Molden did. So using Derwin James closer in the box, closer in the slot. So Alohi Gilman, hopefully he returns very, very soon.
Please. All right, lots of voicemails here. Let's get to some more after we talk about the men of the hour. Two of the three probably men of the hour. Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey breaking records now for the Chargers. Surpasses Keenan Allen with most receptions and yards by a rookie in franchise history. Like, we're talking history now for Ladd McConkey. For a guy that was drafted in the second round, traded up. And that graphic that they showed at the game yesterday, Jake, of that trade that the Chargers had where they traded up for Ladd McConkey with the Patriots. And the net of that was the Patriots gave up a chance to get Ladd McConkey, and then Tar Heaps still were the two picks that they got from that.
That's what came out of it. Normally it's the other way around, and the Chargers are the ones that are being fleeced in a trade.
And there's a graphic of the Chargers versus the Patriots draft class, Jake. And it is rough sledding. Drake May, first round, second round with that pick that the Chargers traded. Jalen Polk, who has done close to nothing. Caden Wallace in the third round, who has Layden Robinson. Javon Baker hasn't had a catch yet. The other receiver they got. Marcellus Dial Jr., Jaheim Bell, and Joe Milton. That's their draft class. That's it. The Chargers and Ladd McConkey. I mean, McConkey and Justin is like an Oreo, man. Like, they go hand in hand together. It's like Oreo and milk. And we said it at camp. The first day we saw Ladd McConkey out there roasting dudes. No hyperbole. I don't care who is guarding matched up one-on-one with Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey has the advantage. It does not give me any corner in the NFL. I don't care. I will take Ladd McConkey over him one-on-one. He is always open. And to see him break Keenan Allen's rookie record of all people, the year after Keenan Allen is no longer on the team. Come on, dude. Could you have hit it in a year in which everybody was talking about Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, Marvin Harrison, Xavier Legette, Xavier Worthy, all these dudes, right? Which most of them are dudes. Ladd McConkey is arguably the best rookie wide receiver this year. Want to go by stats. And given the offense he's in, I mean, it's not like a prolific passing offense. He is just that dude. And for Joe Ortiz to go and flex to get him and Joe Alt? Are you kidding me? And then ho-hum, Justin Herbert comes in, throws 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Should have had 4 touchdowns. You saw how pissed he was on the sidelines after that field goal. That almost didn't go in. If this is the worst that the receiving core looks, and at times it looks bad, I get it. But as we saw yesterday, Quentin starting to look good. You saw some crucial 3rd and 4th down catches from Quentin Johnston. Josh Palmer, I know the deep ball stuff isn't there with him, which is kind of weird. There really isn't any deep ball with any outside receiver. Stone Smart.
Will Dissly throwing in a spin move to move the change.
Tucker Fisk. Look. If you can get a dude that's always open like this, give yourself a cheat code. I always say this. If you look at the Chiefs have cheat codes. Travis Kelce is a cheat code. Patrick Mahomes is a cheat code. I'm putting these 2 there too. Lad McConkey is a cheat code. He's always open. Justin Herbert, cheat code. They shined. They shined bright. And it was so awesome to see Lad get all of it. And my favorite part, Jake, was the deep one. Because I've been asking for that all season long. And they got it.
In the mix of all this, Dan, it's a few of the other stats that kind of just went under the radar that Lad McConkey is now the 10th rookie that was not selected in the first round to have a 1,000-yard season.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Wow.
The 10th rookie of all time. Obviously, Keenan Allen is another one that is on that list. But the other names that are on that list, Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, Michael Thomas, Anquan Bolden.
These aren't jumps.
I mean, it's rarefied air that Lad got into yesterday. And just to do it in the fashion that he's done, again, with this offense, as you mentioned, where everybody was talking about, the Chargers having one of the weakest wide receiving core in the NFL. And maybe on paper, that's still the case. But, God, you just talk about seeing something in training camp and everything paying off from early signs of practice to say Justin Herbert and Lad McConkey are like this. And lo and behold, that's exactly what they have been. And it's paid off in spades. And it's a damn shame that you didn't have him against the Kansas City Chiefs game because, God, I would have loved to have seen that. And I hope we still do at some point. But Lad McConkey has just come in and taken the bull by the horns. And as we have talked about, he's just like the most, or as we have heard about, especially from Chris Rim, he's just the most humble guy. Doesn't like talking about himself. It's like
he and Justin are like Oreos and milk, man.
Yeah, I don't give a crap. Like he'll talk about someone else. So just to come in as a second round pick acquired off of a trade up in a wide receiver class, as you mentioned, that everybody else was talking about the headliners,
including us. Yep.
Us included. It's just paid off in spades.
The Chargers did it right. They did it right. They went Joe Alt first, who has proved, he was a leading vote getter in Pro Bowl, which is ridiculous. The kid's insane. And they get McConkey. Like, even if they got Neighbors, who pick a receiver, whichever one you wanted, how much better would they have been? Honestly. Marginally at best. Marginally at best. Comment here. Imagine Ladd and T. Higgins in our offense. That would be nice.
That would be something.
That would be nice. Jake, let's get the next voicemail here.
Woo, that's what I'm talking about. Jake, Dan, what a win. What a good win to witness. Hope you guys enjoy the day. Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh, Happy New Year to you.
That was swell.
Appreciate that. That was a lot of good, quick enthusiasm.
Good vibes.
On the Chargers Unleashed hotline. I love that. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. James Wagner says, give me that Jamari Sawyer offensive line from now on, please. Jake, you and I talked about it pregame. That may help influence the Chargers team in their run game more specifically. And you can't really say it didn't help in pass protection either. That offensive line looked pretty darn good, and Justin looked pretty clean. I think there was one Keon White pressure.
Justin had forever to throw that ball.
Yep.
Forever. Granted, New England doesn't have the best pass rushing defensive line.
But how many times, I will say, but real quick, how many times have we seen like opposing team doesn't have a blank?
Correct.
And then they go up against Chargers.
Game.
Yes.
Go back to the Atlanta game.
Go to the Denver game.
That game had only 10 sacks on the season and ended up getting 5 on Justin Herbert in one game that year. It's just the interior of this offensive line has been such a weak point for the Chargers, regardless of where we're talking about running the ball or pass blocking. Yesterday, they executed on both, and it was just a great change of pace, great to see. So who knows what the severity is for the Trey Pipkins injury, which obviously kept him out for this game. But one thing you do know is that when the Chargers see something working, especially Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, they'll go back to it. And it's much in the way of why they were bringing Jamari Sawyer in on certain rotation plays, especially when it came close to the goal line for when they wanted to run it in, that they would take Trey Pipkins out, put Jamari Sawyer back in. Maybe you got something here. And like I said, in the same circumstances, guys like Hassan Haskins and Stone Smart, you go out and you have a good game. The coaching staff has shown that they've noticed that. And hopefully that's something that they can build on. So I don't know if it's going to mean a permanent change moving forward. We'll see. But you got to like what you saw out of Jamari Sawyer yesterday.
The offensive line looked good. Jamari Sawyer included. Bradley Bozeman looked pretty good too. You saw a couple checkouts. It was pretty nice. Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater doing Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater things. It just was a clean operation yesterday. And you look at kind of the box score of some of these. And again, caller talked about it before. 11 different receiving targets across this team. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Josh Palmer, Darius Davis, which we'll talk about, Stone Smart, Will Disley, Hassan Haskins, Tucker Fisk, J.K. Dobbins, DJ Chark, and Kamani Vidal, all with targets in this game. They're spreading it around, and Justin had all day. And I saw some comment on Twitter, and it was so poetic. It was, I forget exactly, but basically it was I wish somebody could take like a CT scan or an MRI of my brain when I see Justin Herbert just like cork back. Because, I mean, it is like, oh, that's absolutely what everybody feels. And they only could do it when you have an offensive line. And the offensive line impresses on both sides, in the pass game and the run game. And we talk about balance, Jake. Although we did see Justin Herbert throw 38 times, which I was pretty shocked. There was a stat where he had like 20-something throws in the first half. They also ran 37. 37 carries, a $147, and a touchdown. That's Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman football. And again, we got to give Roman his praise. He was light out. There was not a thing that he did that honestly, this is what I was telling you. You and I were texting, Jake. There was a thing that he did seemingly that didn't work. And then Darius, beginning of the game.
Good Lord, man. Again, I'm talking about another building opportunity, and Dan, I'll let you talk about this a little bit more, but coming off of the catch that was phenomenal against the Denver Broncos in a play that really, he was kind of just an outlet guy, was there for the screen and then ran upfield and made a ridiculous catch. Now, all of a sudden, Darius Davis is being utilized more in the passing game one short week later. And this is something that Dan Wolkenstein has been asking of Darius Davis going back to last season. Dan, time for me to shut up and time for you to talk about number 12.
Darius Davis. We have been clamoring for Darius Davis to be used more in the passing game downfield back-to-back weeks. And that catch that Darius Davis had, I still don't know how he caught that so smoothly. And looking at this image, look at this. First off, Justin threw the dot to a guy who's half his size. And this guy catches it, then cradles it, and then enables himself to not let the ground screw it up. All I could do was tweet all caps, oh my God, Darius Davis got that. This guy is the fastest player on the field. Start using him like a Tyreek type. Start using him in that regard. Even if it's as a decoy, it will open up this offense so much. And you're seeing back-to-back weeks, him getting in the end zone. And I love that. I absolutely love it. Not only are they throwing to him, but he's actually making it pay off. And so this offense, again, going to new heights. You're seeing new things. You're seeing stuff opening up that we haven't seen before. Unknown to mankind. This offense was unknown to mankind until yesterday. And I don't know how people cannot be excited for possible trajectory of that. Chris, we have a couple of people here, Jake, talking about the seeding real quick. To get the 5th seed, Steelers need to lose against the Bengals. Yes. All that has to happen to make this short and sweet for the Chargers to get the 5th seed. Steelers lose, Chargers win. That's it. That's all you care about. Steelers lose next week. Chargers win next week. Chargers the 5th seed.
Which, after the wild Denver Bronco Cincinnati Bengals game that took place yesterday, Cincinnati coming out, winning that game, they still have something to play for as it relates to their playoff hopes. They need to win, and they need some help to get into the playoffs. So they're going to be coming for Pittsburgh. And obviously Pittsburgh, coming off of 3 straight losses, now needs to win. So it's big-time playoff implications for both of those teams. And in terms of seeding, Chargers, obviously, they're not going to stand pat. Doesn't sound like they're going to rest their guys for this upcoming Raiders game because they want to get a seed higher. They want to get the 5th seed. And again, I mentioned this last week, coming off of that Denver Broncos game, that in the midst of all that excitement and that comeback, Jim Harbaugh was talking about this New England game to say, hey, 9 wins, 10 wins get you in the playoffs. Fast forward to the post game of this week, and he caps it off with, hey, 11 wins is better than 10, and it's all about seeding. He is not letting guys escape the fact that there is still work to be done before the playoffs actually start. That's right.
Athir, $20 donation. Dan, listen, bro, I know you don't care about the narrative about Herbert all you want. The Chargers win. Well, I do. All this Herbert talk cannot win. All this Herbert cannot win talk. Herbert losing the playoff. Then we beat Houston and not good enough. Okay, so I think what Athir is saying is, alluding to anyways, is that they'll keep moving the goalposts. First, they'll say that Justin Herbert doesn't win. Then they'll talk about his stats. Then when he does, if he does win, let's say it's against Houston, Houston's not a good enough team, and they'll keep moving the goalposts. Sure, whatever. Let them talk. Like, it's frustrating. I get it. It's okay.
Yeah. Look,
it is okay.
The narrative, yes, will probably shift again because everybody's saying, it's like, oh, well, in order for Justin Herbert to be considered in the elite company of quarterbacks, he needs to win a playoff game. So let's just say he goes on the road in Houston and does that. It's just going to be another validation of moving the goalpost. Whatever.
Fine.
Whatever. It's geared up from the standpoint of the culture has changed. It may not be the rookie stats that Justin Herbert put up. It may not be, Patrick Mahomes level or Joe Burrow type stats that they're putting up on their season. Who cares? Look at the efficiency of Justin Herbert. If people want to ignore that in terms of him taking care of the football this year, fine. Let them. Whatever. It's translating to wins. The Chargers have officially punched their ticket. That's their narrative. That's fine.
What would Jim do? What would Justin do? Do you think Justin gives 2 shits about his stats right now? No. He's sitting there like 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, chilling in the fourth quarter. Game's a wrap. Going to the playoffs. Do you think he cares about what Richard Sherman is saying? Or about people saying, oh, he's nowhere near Joe Burrow. Like, dude, all he wants to do is win as a team. That's all he cares about. And that's what you want as a team. So I get it. People are going to talk, but people are going to talk because people will listen. And if you listen, they'll keep talking. Got a lot of these, Jake. It'll be nice to see the Steelers game is moved to Saturday. I think 2 games will be on Saturday, ESPN and ABC, probably announced tonight. Honestly, who out there thinks the Steelers are going to beat the Bengals right now? I don't.
The Bengals are playing for their playoff lives. They're in desperate mode. I mean, that Denver Broncos game yesterday with them and the Bengals was insane.
And don't look now. Broncos might miss the playoffs.
I mean, they may catch the break of Kansas City resting their starters in the final week of the season.
Do you still think Kansas City's going to lose? Even with their backups? I don't care.
Yes.
Black magic.
Basically, for a Denver Broncos team that only had to win one of their last 3 games, yes, I think the Chiefs would lose with their backups in against that Denver team that's now essentially playing desperate.
I was there, says Tyrone Smith. Listening to Pats fans whine and leave early was worth the price of admission alone. Oh, 100%. Being at games in which opposing fans leave early, priceless. It's like the MasterCard commercial. 100%. Next voicemail, Jake. We got a lot of these left. Let's kind of roll through these. Next one.
Yes, sir. Smoking on Patriots pack.
The pause.
Smoking on what?
The pause was everything in that sense. Smoking on what?
How you doing? Great win. Boomer from South Florida. Absolutely. I'm smiling ear to ear. Victory brisket. Everything. This is such a great game. It was a great. You go in and
that Patriot pack is affecting him early.
Man, it's great when winning just takes over not only your emotions, but sometimes your ability to even get a sentence out. Awesome.
The East Coast in a pretty okay, pretty hard to play environment against a bad team, and you take them to the back to behind the barn, and you
take it behind the woodshed.
And you what?
Take it behind the woodshed.
And you
do the thing.
And you do the thing. So good. I love it.
Great win. Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's go through
love
it.
So good.
I love the Chargers on the hotline. Next voicemail, Jake.
San Diego Superchargers.
San Diego Superchargers.
San Diego Sincere here. Great momentum victory going into the tournament. All I got to say is Happy New Year's and happy playoffs to the entire Bolt gang. Let's get it.
Oh, I got chills over here. This feels
Dan,
so good.
Talking about momentum, let's talk about response just for a second. Look at how you've responded since the Tampa Bay game.
Mm-hmm.
After getting your own 40 burger put up on you. After having that game where your offense against one of the statistically bad defenses in terms of yards and points allowed per game, that defense essentially just nullified your offense. Couldn't do anything. Could not really do anything. And only played, obviously, one half of football. And then in the second half, they just came out and destroyed you. Look at what they've done since that blowout. It's been phenomenal to see the offense respond this way. And that's the difference of something we have not seen in the better part of 15 years. 15 years. Traditionally, as we had talked about, games like the Denver game, you get put in an 11-point hole. The Chargers probably don't come back and win that game. Or games like yesterday, it's probably a lot closer traditionally. The Chargers play down to their opponents. The response has been great. You got to tip your hat to what you've seen, and that this is coaching. This is players buying in. This is players being able to understand how, let's call it what it was, humiliating that was.
Yep.
And this is how you've responded. Gotta love it.
Chargers, Bruins 71. My buddy Joe was there yesterday, and he said there were tons of Chargers fans there. Yeah, we heard on the broadcast, they talked about they were surprised how many Chargers fans showed up to that game. Sweet jumps. Yes, the Patriot pack hits different. 100%. Eric says that I doubt they rest anyone aside from Mahomes and a couple key guys due to the fact that they don't want to have a month off, Christmas to the 18th. That's too long for Andy Reid. I'm curious to see how the Chiefs handle this. I don't think Mahomes plays because I think it'd be stupid if he or Kelsey play, to be honest. Everyone else, maybe. Jake, we have gone almost 50 minutes already, and we haven't really talked about the defense at all.
No, we have not. That's saying something.
Give a shout out to Jesse Minter. We could talk about all the players here in a second, but what he has done with this group, and yeah, there are other names. Derwin James balled out. He's having a renaissance year. Joey Bosa, Khalil, Mack showed up. Tuli, Bud Dupree. But I can't help but just be in awe of what Steve Klingscale, Chris O'Leary, and Jesse Minter have been able to do with this secondary. I put a tweet up yesterday. It's easy to forget the names that this Chargers team has had to cycle throughout this year in the secondary. Let me read this list to you, Jake. DiCaprio Boodle, Eli Apple, Kendall Williamson, Marcus May, Tony Jefferson, AJ Finley, Asante Samuel Jr., Christian Fulton, Elijah Molden, 2 rookies in Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart, Derwin James, Dean Leonard, Alohi Gilman hasn't really been playing. And you have cycled through almost all of them due to injury. It is Derwin James and his merry friends at that point. And somehow this defense has dominated, for the most part, consistently all season. We all talked about, imagine Justin Herbert with the defense. Well, you're seeing it. 10 wins and counting. That's got to feel so good for Justin to know, like, when he or the team can't get something in, punt it, it's fine. Defense got me. Just to have that confidence. What can you say about the staff and what they've done? Linebacking core, shout out Navarro Bowman. Daiyan Henley, I think he's like, what, top 3 or top 5 tackler in the NFL? The kid looks like an all-pro. You got Troy Dye out there looking great. Nick Nieman's playing without Denzel Perryman for weeks. What can you say? Derwin James has looked like an all-pro. He was an absolute animal in that game yesterday.
Let's not forget, one of the few players that Jesse Minter singled out throughout training camp was Derwin James. And when Jesse Minter first got to this team, one of his goals was, let's get Derwin James back to all-pro form. Let's get him back to 2018 Derwin James. Mm-hmm. I would say mission accomplished for what he has done with him this year. It's been great. And Dan, you mentioned it time after time, just seeing how happy he is in that locker room. He's playing like a madman. He is playing like a madman. Yesterday with 2 fourth down stops, getting another sack, brings him up to 5 on the season.
2 sacks, 5.5 sacks.
Excuse me. Yes.
Fumble recovery.
It is a resurgence that was the goal all along and that we expected to see over the last 3.5 years and never did, because a lot of things. Let's just say that. But Jesse Minter knew what he needed to do with Derwin James, and he accomplished that mission in spades.
This is all we asked for, was to have Derwin James look like this and to be utilized like this. And you are seeing a man possessed. in the box Derwin James is the Mona Lisa, in my opinion. Like, it is pure perfection. And watching him chase down Drake May yesterday was, again, I know we say it all the time, like the analogy of like a lion hunting its prey. Like, that's what it looks like. He's just hunting. And he just seems to always be in the right spot. And you know this, I mean, seeing him, I think it was him and Daiyan after the fumble recovery doing that dance afterwards in the end zone after the turnover. They're all hugging after a third down stop, excuse me. This team has so much heart, and it starts from the top. Derwin James, take a bow. There are people saying he was washed. Give me a break. Derwin James, absolute masterclass. Jake, next voicemail. Starters on the hotline.
Playoffs! Yes! Here we come, guys. Playoffs. Finally. What a win. What a comfortable, easy win. Was able to keep the heart monitor in the drawer today. Just finished watching the Bengals game. Oh, Bengals, I don't know what is wrong with you guys, but thank you for pulling off the win in the final minute of overtime. That was a crazy game.
I don't know what's wrong with you, but thank you.
Doink for almost the loss of your season. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But come on, guys. We're in the playoffs. All we have to do now is win next week, and we get the 5 seed. We're going to Houston. Let's go!
Win and see the Steelers lose. But yes, your point is taken.
Yes. Enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Love it.
Woo! Feels good. Feels good. Jim Harbaugh is Pappy 1973. Who's got it better than us? Future us.
Future us.
How about
Future
that?
us.
How about that? Jake, let's roll through these. Next voicemail.
Yeah, they win in New England, and that is my instant reaction. All those years of, the Patriots always kind of having our number, they clinch a playoff spot in New England. I understand this isn't the same Patriots team, but who cares? It's still in New England, and it's a playoff clinching win. Jim Harbaugh is building something special, and I think for the first time in a long time, the future is definitely brighter than the present, and the present's pretty bright. Bolt up, go Chargers.
Jake, I think
I
think it's feels good.
Look, the Chargers don't make their schedule. Nobody makes their own schedule. This just happened to be the playoff clinching scenario for the Chargers this week. Win, and you're in.
Yep.
It's the fact that I've mentioned again, the nightmares that we have about such what seems like a simple concept to just go out and handle your business. And historically, the Chargers will either make it close, as the other callers was talking about, get the blood pressure going up a little bit, not being able to go out and definitively handle your business. The Chargers did that yesterday. And Dan, that was one of the reasons that my confidence level was high going into this game. It's the fact that Jim Harbaugh is not a prisoner of the moment and does not allow his guys to get too high in the clouds with everything that is going on, especially even coming out off of a win.
Yep.
And it's the focus that he has and is able to bring back for his guys to say, hey, we're not done. We still have business to go out and handle. Let's go out and do it. And again, even after a 40-point win that you have against the New England Patriots, he still is not resting on it because now he wants more. That's what anybody should want in this type of situation. So you got to love it. The momentum that they are carrying into the playoffs right now is, if this is where, as many people said, you start peaking at the right time. Mm-hmm. If this offense is going where it's going right now, it's great momentum to have. If this defense can build off of what they did in that second half against Denver, obviously yesterday, you do that against, obviously you're going to have better competition to go against. but utilize those little things, the things that are working, and build off of them. It's the right time for these things to be happening.
Super chat's coming in, Jake. Nicholas Petrilli. Is Herbert playing next week? Thank you, Nicholas.
Yes.
Yes, I think he is. Although, again, we don't know timing of games. If if the number 6 seed is locked up, then no. But if there's a chance at the 5, then yes. I'll put it that way. I'll hedge it there. Jake, not to be lost in all of this was some aggressive play calling from Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh going for it on 4th down. And it pays off. 2 for 2, 10 points as a result. We'll get to those in a second here, Jake. Next voicemail.
Dan, Jake.
Hey, look who it is. Right on cue. Right on cue. Somebody just asked, we need an Athir voicemail. Where'd that go? We need an Athir voicemail. Jorge, we got you covered. Athir, let's hear it.
This is Athir. Wow, what a win. Domination. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? This is why we got this cold.
Is he in the bathroom, by the way? He's had too many Modelo's and cigars. He's shitting himself in the bathroom.
This is why I love him so much. This is why I cried when he got hired. This is why I want him. And you have not seen nothing. Wait till next year. Let's go. I want the Ravens. Let's go.
The patriarch of positivity that is Athir. I mean, as you heard, he's calling for the Ravens now, which essentially would have the Chargers be in the 6th seed in that scenario. I remember a week ago, he was calling for the Bills. He wanted the Bills to go in Buffalo. Look, I do not shortchange Athir in terms of his mentality for this team, in terms of going to Baltimore, getting some of that back that Baltimore had absolutely trounced the Chargers offensively earlier this season. You're going against one of the best in Joe Burrow in a Buffalo situation. Okay. It's bold. I like it. I'm not knocking it. However, honestly, in this situation, and I'm not saying to escape any team, but if it's me, if there is a pathway to get to the Kansas City Chiefs, that's what I want. That's what I want. That to me is bigger than an opportunity to go up against Baltimore or go up against Buffalo. And it's there because you've seen how close both of these teams played earlier this year. If it meant taking away the three-peat opportunity of the Kansas City Chiefs,
give me that.
Even if you went out and you lost the next week afterwards, I wouldn't care. The fact that you were able to take that away from them,
totally,
that is chef's kiss, in my opinion.
Athir follows it up, Jake, with a $5 donation. Again, thank you, Athir. We love you. It's all fun and games. Athir lists top 5 fraud quarterbacks in the NFL. Number 5, Dak Prescott. Number 4, Jalen Hurts. Number 3, Jordan Love, which I kind of agree with those. Kind of. But when he says Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are the biggest frauds, you miss me, Athir. But thank you. Herbert is better than all of them. Give me the Ravens. This is America. We can all voice our feelings
and enjoy yourselves.
Next voicemail, Jake. Let's roll through.
Hello, it's DP Kick Rocks here. That was an ass whooping. That was great. Christian Fulton, another PI call. I mean, I want to add these up. I mean, it might be at like 200 yards now he's giving away.
I get it that the PI kind of sucks, but I feel like that's a little unnecessary. Like, he's getting a little unnecessary flack. If we just look at the contract that Christian Fulton's getting, I mean, he is out kicking that coverage by football fields right now. So let's put it in perspective here. Christian Fulton's been a pretty darn good corner on the whole.
That's neither here or there. I mean, what?
That's neither here nor there. Just want to get off my chest.
That was the first thing coming in here. Let me just get my rant out about Christian Fulton's PI call, and now we'll move on.
What a great game. Herb making history. Lad McConkey just absolutely shredding defenses apart. I got a jersey for Christmas. I got it sitting on the chair right next to me. It's a little warm. But I just want to know what you guys think about next week with the Raiders. Do we even sit there? I know we want to win it, but what do we do with Justin? Do we play Justin? Do we let him get it fully healthy? Do we let him play a little bit of the game? I want to know what you guys are thinking, because right now I'm kind of indifferent because we want that 5 seed. All right, guys, have a good day.
I love it. Just the counterbalance of the the voicemail. Let me just get my Christian Fulton rant out first. Now let's talk about the domination of Justin Herbert and Lad McConkey and going to the playoffs.
Okay, I said before, quickly, if the Chargers have a chance at the 5 seed, he'll play. If they do not, he should not, in my opinion. School the pro. The Chargers will win the Super Bowl this year. This year. I say that every year, but this year is true. A lot of folks talking about some tight ends in the draft, Jake, which I know there are some good ones.
Oh, yes.
There are some good ones. I know Tyler Warren is a big one. Obviously, the guy over in Michigan.
Colson Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr., and their bowl game, just ridiculous stat line, 17 receptions, over 200 yards, and a touchdown. He may not be the tight end that you would probably think for the Chargers, but it's just, in general, this tight end class has really blossomed this year. It's going to be prolific. And I would assume, honestly, who knows what ends up happening with Stone Smart, but the Chargers, to have a weapon like a Colston Loveland or a Tyler Warren inserted into this offense would be fantastic.
100%. 100%. There are some talks here. Real quick, Chris Guzman, do you hear about this, Jake? Jim Harbaugh got $1 million bonus for making the playoffs, according to the Bleacher Report. That was in his contract.
I did not hear about this.
Yep, so he's happy. He's pulling that check down, if you will. $1 million.
Pulling it down.
Take that. I'll take that. Jake, there's some talk about Jazir Taylor. Not trying to bring the mood down again, but it seems like he is always around really big negative plays. And he hasn't played nearly as much as some of the other guys on this defense. And so the percentages of times he's in really big plays when he's on the field that are negative is pretty high. And seeing the performance of some of these other guys, it's just hard for me to see why he's there in place of them. Honest. That's just me being honest. I think he has had some good plays, but it just seems like, go watch the fluke play that happened from Drake May to Douglas. Look who's there. So I'm with you, Chargers fans. I'm with you. Jorge says Lad McConkle dust is the man.
That's a good variation of it.
That's new. Next voicemail, Jake. You got a few more here.
Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz absolutely cooked this year. I mean, double the win total. We might be getting 11 wins, and we're going to the freaking fracking playoffs. Man, you got to love their odds with J.K. Dobbins back and Lad McConkey.
The freaking fucking playoffs. Love it.
Here's for the PG kids and for also the grown-ass adults.
Cover your ears.
Future all-pro #1 receiver. What a game. What a season. Hey, who's got it better than us?
Nobody. Except future us. Nobody. The freaking fucking playoffs. Yes. I love it. That's how I am going to talk about playoffs from now on, using not one variation of the word, but 2 variations of the word.
Yes. Like, oh, how's your coffee? Freaking fucking good.
Yes.
I fear with another $10 donation. Jake, this is all caps, by the way. Jake, you know I love you because you take my side. Dan, love you. Love me, but does not listen to me. The only way You stop the Herbert talk, beat Lamar following week, beat Mahomes, and you agree or not? Thanks.
Beat one of them. Beat one of them.
Just
Take your
win a
pick.
playoff
I don't
game.
care. Again, I don't care. I would honestly get more gratification out of the Chargers taking away the possibility of the Chiefs three-peating.
It's like the Padres fans watching when they beat the Dodgers.
Yeah,
that's the World Series to them.
That would carry so much more weight to me than going on the road and beating Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Honestly.
Yep. Nicholas says, "Okay, lad, $5 donation. By the way, thank you, man. You guys are fantastic. Happy New Year, happy holidays to all of you. We appreciate you. Lad is amazing. He's not always open, but he is always wide open." I'm drooling at the possibility of him and T. Higgins carving up defenses. You saw T. Higgins ball out yesterday too, by the way. Yeah.
So instead of 7-11, he's 8-12. He's that wide open.
Yep. Geronic? Pair both names, I apologize. This is the best time in my 50-ish years as a fan.
Nice.
To be a Chargers fan. Jorge, I freaking fucking love a future fan of the year.
Yes.
Dan, what was the hat Herbert was wearing at the press conference? I missed it.
That was the no elevators hat.
I bought mine.
Mahoko, you bought yours? Great.
Yep.
Everybody else should be too. Yeah.
Yep. No elevators.
Even when Simi Fehoko isn't out on the field, he's still doing work. Look at that man.
And when Justin's wearing the hat, like, you know you're about to sell a shit ton. Did you, like, for example, the beanie Justin was wearing on the sidelines yesterday? How quickly that sold out on the Chargers store?
I did not even realize that was the thing, but okay.
Yeah, Jay Richer, Athira is single-handedly funding the Chargers Unleashed podcast. Certainly helping. Helping.
He's helping. Yeah, I can't deny that.
All right, 2 more voicemails, Jake. We're almost through. Again, you can call into the Chargers Unleashed hotline anytime, 323-902-7586. 2 more.
Yeah, I just want to call my work right now, but I'm just too tired. Yo, both the fuck up.
I just want to call into work right now because I'm too tired.
Going in hot to the playoffs, man. That's all I want to say, man. Thank y'all for doing your thing. Both the fuck up.
Dude.
He's smoking those packs too.
Oh, yeah. Bolt the fuck up. Freaking fucking bolt the fuck up.
Brad said, hilarious. Yes, if we magically, asks Craig, or says Craig, if we magically get the 5 seed win and have Pittsburgh beat Baltimore for us, take care of Buffalo, then we can play, at best, the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. Let's just get to the playoffs and win a playoff game first. Ooh. And win, I'll drop 500 into the super chat. Everybody, you saw this. Screen grab right there. Thank you, Eric. We'll see. Chris says we need to be aggressive and violent in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Playoffs is no time for being conservative.
Nope.
Hell no.
Last voicemail, Jake and fans. Thank you guys for all of the voicemails you brought into Chargers Unleashed hotline for this playoff clinching episode. Last one.
Hello, Jake and Dan. This is Action Dan.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Action Dan. I think he actually gave us a super chat earlier, so appreciate that. Hello.
Man, that felt good to get that win.
Yes, it did feel good.
Yes, it did.
Can we just remember what that felt like? We were going into it stressing out. We were all like, this is going to happen. Please don't let Vegas Raiders be the team that locks us out of the playoffs. We were going through it.
And it felt good to finally sit down on the couch and not be nervous about the opponent coming back and beating us. Yeah, it's great to have the 6th seed. I'm looking forward to the 5th seed. I'm
looking forward to the 5th seed.
Hey. Again, a little bit more things to happen in order to get to the 5th seed that's out of your control, but hey, would love to get the 5th seed.
Looking at the Steelers, and looks like they're tanking again, as they usually do at the end of the year. And I was happy that the Bengals beat the Broncos, not only because I like people to beat the Broncos, but also because
it gives something the Bengals to play for. So now I feel a hell of a lot better with the Bengals going into Pittsburgh and beating the Steelers than I did about 3 weeks ago. So anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, just looking forward to the playoffs. Hopefully we can get that 5th seed because I'm sure we can get the Texans. And but the way they were playing last week or this last game, I don't know. We could probably take the Ravens in Baltimore. But anyway, have a great day. I'm out.
Let me make one comment on the Baltimore Ravens scenario. If that's how things end up shaking out, I will go back to what Khalil Mack said after that game. Do you remember what he said, Dan? He felt that if they got him again, they would play him differently. He felt that even though the basic offense that they were running between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, even though it was dominating for them, which it was, they just were owning the trenches that day. Khalil Mack said if they got an opportunity to play him again, they felt like they would do much better and that they would stop him. Actually, his words. He was pissed after that game. So was every other Chargers player after getting handled like that in prime time.
Yep.
So I will say that much. Yeah, I will expect it to be not the repeat of the trouncing that it was. But still. Let's get the 5th seed and give me an opportunity to go up to Kansas City one more time.
Yeah. Allow me to go to Kansas City after a victory versus having to go through the gauntlet. Like, yeah, you want to beat the best to be the best. I get it. But you don't want to beat all of the best teams to be the best. Like, I'd rather beat as little as possible. That'd be great. That'd be great. There's a comment here that I wanted to bring up. It is great. Basically, I don't know if I can find it, but here it is. The best thing is we have played all the playoff teams. 100%. They have gone up against Pittsburgh. They've gone up. Only one is Buffalo. But they've gone up against Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City. Lost all of them. But they've seen them. Their lessons learned. And I just have a hard time believing Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter lose 3 in a row to the Chiefs. Hell, 3 in a row to anybody. So, give me that. Give me that. Jake, this Chargers team looks different. We talked about that aggressiveness. 4th down. Jim Harbaugh generally, so far this season, typically does not go for it on 4th down. Trusts his defense. You could tell he knew how important this game was. And when you have a team that is not as great as you go for it. And Stone Smart, you are my hero. You have looked like a godsend for this Chargers team because they desperately needed a pass-catching tight end aside from Will Dissly. And those are some massive catches. Quentin Johnston had a 4th down reception, and Stone Smart had a 4th down reception. I think Quentin had 2 3rd down conversions and a 4th down reception, by the way. So,
mind you, this was after on the first drive of the Chargers that he dropped a pass and then Ladd dropped a pass, and everybody was like, oh, God. Here we go. Because the Chargers have in total, I think it's 28 drops on the year. They're up there with the top offenses in terms of wide receivers or just weapon or pass catchers dropped.
Yep.
And then look at the response. Look at the response when you critically needed a conversion like that. Went out and handled business. It was like, forget the first drive. That didn't happen.
Yep.
Make up for it.
And you saw Justin, how pumped he was after those conversions too. Like, he knew how important those were. Not just for him, but for the players he throws to. Like, he knew that's big for Quentin. He knew that's big for Stone Smart in this franchise. Like, you need your horses to get these in order for you to win. And for Justice, like, hell yeah, I can count on you. Hell yeah. Good for you. Go get it. Put those guys to shame. Yes. Yes. And as much as people want to shit on Quentin Johnston for some of the passes that he dropped, like, let's also give due credit for the clear improvement that Quentin Johnston has this season. You could talk about him still not being, a top-tier receiver. I get all of that. But can we please give him some props for the improvements he has had this season? Again, he has already eclipsed receptions, targets, yards. He's quadrupled his touchdowns from a year ago. Already has 8 touchdowns. Like the guy's on pace for about 600 yards. Like that's good. And again, he played in 3 less games than he did a year ago with those numbers. So again, is he great right now? No, but he is much improved. And we're starting to see him utilized in ways that I think we all wish that we would see more of.
That's the difference.
Jeremy, so you're saying coaching matters? Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Unequivocally. Yes.
Happy Dan is hilarious. Thank you. This is the era of Jedi Dan.
Have you been smoking a New England pack, Dan?
I have not.
Have you been smoking that Patriots pack?
No. Jay Richard, Trucks are stuck with QJ. They should make the best of it. Yeah, and they're doing it. QJ is making moves out there. The underneath stuff is good. I agree. That's what he's built on. He almost never gets tackled like at where he's hit. He always leans forward. Give it to him.
Isn't it wild, again, when we talk about just the utilization under this regime as opposed to the previous regime? Just go back to that Michigan TCU playoff game where Quentin Johnston demolished Jim Harbaugh's Michigan team on their way to a national championship game by using Quentin Johnston in that very same fashion.
Yep.
Put him where he works. Get him his targets. Get him in a position to where he can get positive yards. And he'll go out there and do it.
I'm telling you right now, that 55, 60 yard after the catch touchdown by Quentin Johnston is going to hit like no other. I cannot wait. Athir, Darth Dan back better than ever. I don't think Darth Dan's here. Darth Dan's chilling on the sidelines right now. Like, I feel pretty damn good.
I think the fact, Dan, that it is more noticeable from the standpoint of the moments that you have had when you have been negative.
Darth Dan, yep.
That's how much of a presence it throws Chargers Unleashed off of. Because you were essentially the flag bearer, picking up the ball, carrying it during the Brandon Staley area in terms of just the positivity in general.
It broke me.
3.5 years. And now we're here.
Okay, real quick. Was it 3.5 or 2.5?
It was 3.5, really. Was it, or wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
I think it was 2.5.
2.5. See, I can't even count.
It felt like 10.5.
Yeah,
so
it felt way too long, whatever it was.
Yes. Roland says, everything starts at the trenches. Joe Alt was the best move of the draft all day, any day. I mean, you can't argue with it. Jorge says, Dan shows up with dreads in the next episode. I don't think you want that. Jorge says, this is Jedi Dan. Man, you're right. I didn't realize. Was I that Darth the entire time? If anything, Jake's the Darth one.
Now we're getting into some validity. This is someone who's actually listened to the Chargers Unleashed podcast for some time now.
Yep.
I was terrible. If anything, Dan can say this. This is the most positive that I have been through the entirety of us doing this show together. I think
Jake's predicted wins almost every week except for Chiefs week.
Yep. Damn. It is. I can tell you this. It's amazing. And I said it during the last show. It's amazing how a change in the front office and a coaching staff can really change your attitude about a team.
Yeah. Oh boy. JM Taylor says, I like QJ. His voice is so jazz radio. That's a visual. Chris, think about where we were a year ago, fam. We talked about it. Like, that's insane how quickly this Titanic ship has shifted. I mean, it has avoided the iceberg. It has moved around it. And we're in clear waters, pulling up the port right now. I mean, I don't know. Darth Dan, Jedi Dan are great as long as it never goes to Dan
Binks. That's one that might stick.
Dan Binks.
Dan Binks.
That's new to me. 6-6 Tony says, it feels like Herbert is his bag, especially heading into the playoffs. Watch him win a playoff game or two. Yeah.
Playing like this? Yeah.
Yep. Brad says, that was the best the O-line played all year. I would say elite. They played great. We talked about it earlier in the show. Yep. Jake, we went through a ton here. We went through all of the unsung heroes and the sung heroes. By the way, Cameron Dicker crushed it. 100%. The guy is cool to the side of the pillow that one was, I think it was in. I do think it was in. And there's one angle where it looks like it was in.
Yeah,
but,
only one angle. The other angles is like, yeah, that didn't go in.
Yeah. Someone says, can we fire Staley again? Golly. We talked about the offensive line. We talked about the running back by committee that was Justin Herbert balling. We talked about the targets that he got to 11 different people. This Chargers defense was going crazy. You saw the turnovers. Christian Fulton could have had one as well, by the way. He dropped it. Defensive pressure to Drake May. Make him look like a rookie. Jesse Minter versus Drake May advances Jesse Minter. Greg Roman in his bag. The Jim Harbaugh effect. The worm is turned. We talked about all of it today. But the most important part, Chargers fans, is they have secured the playoffs with a game in the bag. There is nothing anybody can do. There is no way for this Chargers team to choke away a playoff appearance. This Chargers team, chargering is baked, according to Brad, just like Jake.
Like, I didn't have the Patriots pack, as I mentioned when we opened the show. I definitely had some syrup and coffee last night in some celebration. That's for sure. That's why I probably look like a bag of ass right now. That's why my voice sounds the way it does right now. But I appreciate the observation. But no, I was not smoking the Patriots pack last night.
It feels good. It feels good. Let's enjoy this, okay? Let's embrace this moment. The Chargers fans that have gone through hell and back, these last few years have been crazy. But the amount of turn and churn and difference that 1 year makes under Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz, give credit to the Spanos family. What this team looks like and how quickly it has changed in one season. Again, 30 for 30. Add another feather to the cap of Jim Harbaugh. Takes a 5-win team, doubles it at least in one season. Takes the Chargers and all their chargering curses. Flips it on its head. They're going to the playoffs. Possibly the 5 seed. Roland says Jake needs a binky. Jake needs a nap.
Maybe I do.
Yeah.
I need a workout. That's something I definitely need to get the how is it that Jim Harbaugh was talking about it earlier this week with the blood flowing through the trichomy to the veins to the whatever the hell it was, just get the blood flowing. That's what I needed to do.
Will C says, may the football gods award us a 5th seed postseason versus Texas. I predict lots of injured players after a playoff Ravens game. Brad says, shout out to the fans that went. Sweet Jump says, shout out to the fans that went to the Bolts last night.
That was a great sight. That was a
awesome.
Great sight to see that.
Welcoming the Chargers home after their victory. Playoffs is such a great feeling. Jorge says Jake needs a hug. Jake needs a nap and a Pedialyte is what he needs. Jake, the
need a lot of things. Trying, man.
Nick says, I still hate Tom Telesco. Beat him for fun next week. Honestly, I wouldn't hate it. Brad says, Jake, you're doing great. You're doing great. Chargers fans, you did it. Jake, we're covering a playoff team. How's it feel?
Feels good.
How's it feel? How's your positive feel to know that your positivity had paid dividends all season long?
I get what you're trying to say, though, in that circumstance. It's like, hey, don't go back to that dark place that you were in.
That you're in every first half when they have one bad decision.
Hey, you know what? I'm here. I'm being positive. You're
doing great.
Turning over a new leaf, as they say. And I've done that for a majority of the season. Like I said, it's amazing what a new coaching staff and a new front office can do for you.
100%.
Changes worlds.
Yes. This has been so much fun. A couple comments to round this thing out. Jake Everett says, I knew good things were going to happen when QJ caught that first 4th down conversion. 100%. Gates said yesterday, according to Pappy 1973, how important fans are to the team psyche. Bolt up, fam. Chris, play off with a whole bunch of F's time. Next week will be the anniversary of the lowest point in Chargers history, leading to its rebirth.
I mean, I think that was actually...
I think it was 63.
I think it was
2 weeks ago.
A week ago, something like that. But it's close enough. Yeah. But I get it just because of who you're going up against. But yeah, as I've seen some people here in the comments say, it's like, just look at where we were a year ago. I saw another comment in there that was talking about, normally at this point in time, the Chargers would be talking about, their draft position and who they're going to be taking. Hello. That was me.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I remember the tweet that I dropped after that blowout loss to the Raiders last year.
I do remember that.
And
it was a notepad, right?
It was a notepad.
Yeah.
And it was 2024 draft prospects. And I said, it's time. Let's start talking about it. 24 hours later was the beginning of a change process that we become to see Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz come to the Chargers. It's amazing what a year will do.
System of a Jake. No more Blink 180 Dan. Oh, man. All right. Look, Chargers fans, we have had a blast today. We love these live shows. We love being able to interact with all of you. All the comments, all the questions, all the voicemails, all the super chats. So grateful. 2024 has been wild. It has had ups and downs, both as Chargers fans and as humans, as we try to navigate this life. I just want to say thank you to you, Jake, personally. I don't know where I would be without you not getting all mushy-gushy. I don't want to cry, but damn, I don't know where I'd be without you, dude, the last 5 years. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to see what we have in store. Can't wait for Chargers fans to see what we have in store. Thank you to all the fans. Thank you for everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who has given us criticism, who has helped us become what we are today. We try to be better than we were yesterday every day. And we have you, Chargers fans, and folks in the chat to thank for it. Jake, I will give you the floor for parting words, and then we will pull this thing down.
It's hard to say it any differently than you did, Dan. I mean, the 2024 has just been let's call it a reinvigorating year for this entire fan base, to see the response from players, to see SoFi packed the way it is when historically the Chargers never had a home field advantage, to see the enthusiasm, the emotion of everybody, whether it's seeing them at game time, seeing them at tailgates, seeing them on shows like this, it's been just a great thing to witness over the last year. And as Dan mentioned, helping this channel grow in general, getting a chance to interact with every single one of you as we do on these live shows, whether it's here, whether it's on Twitter or social media. We just like talking football. That's all it is at the end of the day. We never claim to know it all. We just like coming on here and talking football with anybody who shares the same type of sentiment. So we appreciate every single one of you that have come on here and helped this channel grow over the last year. We're looking forward to the playoffs, looking forward to see what the Chargers can do to make some noise. And 2025 is going to be a good year. Let's build off of it. Let's go.
Let's go. Jake, we did it. I think our next show might be in 2025. So thank you, Jake, for 2024. Thank you, Chargers fans, for all that you have provided us. This has been so much fun. You can find Jake in all of his glory at Jake T. Hefner on X. You can find me at Dan W. Sports. Please do us a favor. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a review. Leave a comment. Whatever it is you guys want to do. But look, we are so grateful for you. And we are grateful for this Chargers team for making the playoffs in 2024. It isn't even 2025, and it's already playoff time for this Chargers team. Happy New Year to all of you. Enjoy time with your family and friends. Enjoy watching football stress-free for the next week or so. And we will be talking playoffs here momentarily. Again, go find the giveaway that we have. Enter for your chance to win. Signed Josh Palmer jersey will be going up here momentarily. A Lad McConkey jersey of choice is now up for grabs as well. Go to X. You'll see the post where you can find your chance to win either of them. But until then, Jake, get some sleep. Have some Pedialyte. Chargers fans, go give somebody a high five today, like Jim Harbaugh has. Sing He the Jolly Good Fellow.
I need the Ben Herbert workout plan right now is what I need.
Go do that. Go do that. What was it? The fat ratio, the fat to muscle ratio that he talked about earlier in the season?
Man, I need to go back and listen to that, because at first, everything that he says is he makes something that was common sense sound like a damn algebra problem. It was just, it was so scientifically broken down, and I loved it.
Yep. Yeah, these comments honestly are so amazing. Thank you, fans. You guys are great. The best for the 2025 Bolt family. Thanks, gentlemen, for your time. Happy New Year. Playoffs, baby. Happy New Year. Eddie's got a hot date for New Year's Eve.
Eddie.
I love it. Go get him. Go get him. Don't go soft on us, Jake. Stay hard. Gotta leave that right there. The giveaway are the only reason I might sign up for Twitter. Says Otto. That's fine.
Talk about closing out 2024 with a comment like that.
Oh, Jake's closing out rock hard. Okay, let's rock. Jake, this is... all right, it's too much. All right, for Jake,
It's time to close it out.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays from everybody here at LAFB and Chargers Unleashed. And we'll talk to you next time. Chargers are in the playoffs in 2025. Let's get excited. Let's support. Let's love one another. We'll talk to you next on the next Chargers Unleashed. Congrats, Bolt fam. We did it. We are here.